How can you lose weight? How do you slim down? What can you do to not be so fat? Why do people have so much fat? Why is it that someone eats so little, but is still so fat? What needs to be done? What do you need? You know, there's that question, what should you eat so you don't gain weight, but actually lose it? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. This topic is super relevant, especially now, in our times. What do you need to do to fit into a swimsuit and not scare everyone off at the beach? Let's talk about obesity. What is it, really? Actually, when we talk about obesity, we need to talk about energy, about the energy resources that enter our body. The fundamental thing is, for our entire body to properly function, for our vital heart to consistently beat, for our perceptive eyes to clearly see, for our efficient kidneys to meticulously turn primary urine into secondary, for your healthy hair to continuously grow, for your complex brain to effectively work, and for your crucial adrenal glands to optimally function, sufficient and readily available energy is absolutely and undeniably essential. Usually, energy comes from glucose, although it can also come from fatty acids or amino acids, which we get into our bodies as food. So, when we eat something, everything that's eaten is broken down by the enzymes of the digestive system, and the useful components are absorbed into the blood through the villi in the small intestine. These nutrients are then carried by the blood throughout the body, providing energy as a resource for all the work that happens in our bodies. So, if I eat some food, as a result of eating that food, it gets turned into energy for my body to function. But if I consume an excessive amount of energy, if I ingest a substantial quantity of various food items, particularly those that are abundantly rich in readily available energy resources and caloric content, then my body will store the surplus. And it enters my bloodstream, but the cells don't use it up right away, because there's just too much and I didn't need that much. So what does the body do with this excess energy? Our body is like a thrifty hamster that always saves it for later, for another time when it might not be available. And that's exactly why we have so-called fat cells, lipocytes, fat tissue, in our bodies. Fat cells can be found in the subcutaneous tissue, that's subcutaneous fat tissue. Fat cells can also be found in the greater omentum in the abdomen, where a lot of fat accumulates. And this fat serves as a reserve, meaning it's necessary. It's needed to provide for me, to store this energy for times when I don't have enough energy. For example, you ate a lot, stored up a lot of fat, then the food supply stops, but your organs still need to function. Your muscles need to contract, your brain needs to work, your heart needs to pump, your kidneys need to function. All of them. Where do you get the energy from? That's when the body starts drawing from its reserves, from glycogen. That's basically compressed glucose. But most of all, it starts taking energy from where it's been stored up, where a lot has accumulated, and the fat tissue slowly begins to break down. It happens slowly, reluctantly, but it does start to break down in order to supply energy, especially to the most vital organs for human life, the heart, the brain, and so on. And that's why fat tissue acts as a kind of backup buffer. There can be more of it or less, depending on how much a person eats and how much they burn off. So, when a lot of energy has built up, you always need to approach it from two sides. First, if you want your fat tissue to decrease in size, the first thing you need to do is reduce the intake of energy resources into your body through food. All right, that sounded a bit too fancy. Let me put it simply, you need to eat less. Yeah, that sounded a bit harsh, but that's exactly what needs to be done. Shut your pie hole. Stick a medical adhesive bandage over your mouth for 28 days. Weight loss is guaranteed. It's ironic, but there's some truth to it. So, for people who are trying to lose weight, how to slim down, I recommend, well, I don't really count calories or kilocalories, but my advice is, you need to eat less. Limit your food intake and try not to eat at night. And to do that, you really need to eat in the morning. Well, in the morning you eat, but at night you gorge. Keep that in mind too, it's very important. So, there should be some restriction in your diet. Show a little wisdom in this. And remember, if you eat a lot in the morning, you won't want to eat in the evening, but if you skip breakfast, you'll end up gorging at night no matter what. Be wise and eat what you want in the morning. And I usually recommend at least slightly limiting the amount of food you eat in a day, so you end up eating less overall. Second, we need to make it so that the body starts spending more energy. And when it spends more, it uses up the energy that has been stored in the body, and the body starts pulling from its reserves. It's also interesting, how can I make my body spend more energy? A lot of energy is spent on heating the body. Yes, you can put yourself in cold conditions, and that will also make you lose a little weight. Energy will be spent on heating the body, but in summer, it's usually the opposite. Can you make your heart work harder? Or make your kidneys work harder? Or make your brain use more energy? I mean, really work your brain intensely. Well, you can, but the energy expenditure there will be small, and you won't really be able to increase it much. What we can definitely do is increase the energy expenditure on contracting skeletal muscles. These are the muscles of the legs, the arms, and the muscles of the torso, back, and abdomen. And that means walking a lot, running. It also means a lot of, what's it called, when you lift barbells, yeah, that's right, exactly, that too. And also doing ab workouts, and carrying things, lifting things. These are physical exercises. They are very strong consumers of our energy and really use up a lot of it. That's why muscle work, that's why muscle contraction, is where energy gets spent. Over time, it won't be enough. So, if we eat less, run, move more, then energy will start to be used from fat tissue slowly, gradually, little by little, not all at once. It takes some, not all of it, but it does take some. Because muscle contraction always requires energy, and that energy will be taken from fat tissue. So, to lose weight, you need to move a lot. But sometimes, moving a lot and doing a lot of physical work is hindered by the laziest organ in our body. So, attention, experts, here's a question. What is the laziest organ in our body? You have 3 seconds. Got it? Well, if you said it's the brain, then you guessed right. The brain is the laziest organ in your body. No, not what everyone else came up with. Because tell me, what stops you from doing 300 squats? What do you mean you can't handle it? You can handle it. The real question is, you won't even try to do 30. Why? Because your lazy organ immediately figured out that it wouldn't work, and you decided you didn't need to do it. That's why, to beat the laziest organ in your body, the brain, there's a device that I'm going to show you today. It's a myostimulation belt. There's a battery here that generates low-frequency electrical impulses. These impulses are safe for the human body. And this impulse generator is also used for weight loss. You put it on your body and turn it on. The impulses that pass through your body cause involuntary, involuntary muscle contractions without the involvement of the cerebral cortex, without the brain, without that lazy organ. The myostimulator makes your muscles contract. This uses up energy, and the energy expenditure leads to a reduction of fat tissue, resulting in weight loss. Not quickly, not immediately, not that much, but it does lead to weight loss. Here's an example. To lose weight, you need to do 100 sit-ups. But doing 100 sit-ups is pretty labor-intensive for most people. You need to set aside time for it, and most importantly, you have to make that lazy organ work. Make yourself do the sit-ups. Or a person puts on a belt, turns it on, and then electrical impulses from the electrodes are sent to their body. In response to these impulses, the abdominal muscles contract just like they do during sit-ups. So the person does nothing, and the belt does the sit-ups for them. Awesome! A solution. This is exactly what needs to be done. It forces your muscles to contract passively, without any effort on your part, making your body expend energy resources. This kind of belt is used on the stomach, back, buttocks, thighs, anywhere you have a bit of fluid retention, fat buildup, or fat deposits. And the myostimulator helps reduce weight and decrease the amount of fat tissue. The only thing I'll tell you right away is that this doesn't happen quickly, it's a slow process, and using a myostimulator without changing your diet or nutrition allows a person to lose, attention, about 5 kilograms per month. So tell me, 5 kilograms a month. You use a myostimulator, don't change your diet, and lose 5 kilograms a month. Is that a lot or a little? Well, some might say that's not much. Maybe it isn't much, but it's not bad, especially considering you can do it again the next month, and the month after that. And it doesn't require much effort from you. And this leads to your weight gradually, bit by bit, going down. And if you also change your diet, then of course the effect will be much greater and better. So, today's video was exactly about what you need to do to lose weight, to shed those extra pounds.